it cooled right off. It's cooled right off, and suddenly it's warm. So hopefully we won't get any road rage people on this walk. So we're back on Elvis Presley fan. I'm going to leave my top on today. It's not as hot, but we are getting the sun. So we have done 3 quite long lives. Now, obviously today was going to be Austin Butler Day. Hasn't really worked out, has it? Now, I was going to do the Austin Butler. I still am, yeah. But I had a few people, Amy Collett and I think Rose Finney and someone else. I think I had about 5 people send me this link that Priscilla was going to do a tour in the UK for the new book. Obviously, we as fans are concerned about the book. It was, I personally think it was inevitable. At some point, the book was going to come out because, well, there's a lot of reasons, but the release of the book, of Lisa Marie's book, From Here to the Great Unknown, sort of, how can I say it? Secretly, Priscilla is not happy that that book happened. I wonder if Priscilla even knew about the 16 tapes. I would say almost definitely not. It's a good point, actually. I'm just thinking out loud. So, yeah, I put this question to you guys. I wonder when the tapes started, when she started doing these tapes. I'm sure that if I Google it, there'll be some information that actually says when Priscilla started doing these tapes, because we don't know, do we? Could have been years and years ago. Could have been recent, like leading up to her passing. It's actually a good point. I'm going to look up that as well. So Lisa makes a decision. So I mix up names sometimes. Sometimes I say Priscilla by mistake. I meant Lisa, yeah? So I wonder when Lisa actually decided to do the tapes. I wonder if Lisa was a bit reluctant to do a book, didn't really want to do a book, and then thought, oh, I'll make some tapes, put my thoughts on tape, and maybe listen to some of the tapes, and then decide if I was going to do a book. Now, it's pretty obvious at some point that Lisa does say to Riley, look, you know, I'm doing these tapes. Could you help me with them? Could you help me with this book? So I do think there was a time where she did know she wanted to write a book. Yeah. I wonder what her reasons were to write a book. I bet you it was to... This is what Priscilla tried to say 40 years ago. To set wrongs to right. Yeah. So Priscilla, when she was interviewed, I remember on the Terry Wogan show. Now, Terry Wogan was pretty good, the UK interviewer in the 1980s. He was pretty good. He didn't just let Priscilla just carry on and say what she wanted to say and control the whole storyline of the questioning of the interview. Terry Wogan, a very well-known British interviewer, look him up on YouTube, guys. It's a very good interview, Terry Wogan and Priscilla. He interrupts Priscilla and says, why write the book? Many Elvis fans don't think you should write the book. They're upset that you've disclosed some very private details. So she very quickly, you can see that she's a bit defensive, and Priscilla quickly says, no, I think there's been so much injustice in what has been said about Elvis. I want to put wrongs to rights. I want to tell the truth. Almost trying to act like a defender of Elvis. Now, we see it very differently because I've said it many times, but I'm going to say it now. I think Priscilla saw the book as an opportunity where she could retell the story from her point of view, and alter the story. Reinvent the story. I think Priscilla made a decision that she thought, oh, this is an opportunity where I could add some things in, change the facts around, alter the truth, reinvent history. I've also said this before, that I think Priscilla realised that the public were quite gullible, that she could more or less say whatever she wanted. By the time this book came out, she'd had quite a few interviews where she had played the game of being the victim of Elvis, that Elvis was the bad guy. So I think she actually had won over some of the public around the world. She had won over some of the public around the world that, oh, poor Priscilla, look what she went through. You know, what did Elvis put her through? Elvis's unfaithfulness and his drug taking, all that kind of stuff. When the truth is, there was much more to it than that. She had also been unfaithful, and that she was bloody hard work, wasn't she? Priscilla was difficult. So Priscilla tries to rewrite the book Elvis and Me, to put wrongs to rights, but really to tell lies, in my opinion. This whole show is for entertainment purposes. I don't hate Priscilla. I want to expose the wrongdoing of Priscilla for Elvis, for Lisa, for Riley, for Finley, for Hub. Someone's got to stick up for these people. And I choose to be that person amongst others. The Elvis fans have been sticking up and defending Elvis and Lisa for decades. Now in YouTube, you'll see thousands of comments from great Elvis fans exposing the wrongdoing of people, in Priscilla, Memphis Mafia, and other people, about, you know, trashy books and trashy documentaries and biographies. The Elvis fans have always stood up for Elvis. They have. They've always had his back, but they've never really had a voice. I don't think. I think it's always been, eventually YouTube comes along so we can leave the comments. But before YouTube, how did you defend Elvis? Was it, I don't know. How did people defend Elvis before YouTube? Don't really have an answer, to be honest with you. If you had strong views about Priscilla before YouTube, who would you tell? I don't think you could really tell anyone. And this gives you a sort of understanding of the power that Priscilla had. That really the information that the fans were getting was coming from books like the book Elvis and Me. Then you would have the tabloids and the magazines and some news clips on TV, you know, on the 3 channels that you have, 3 or 4 channels in England and America. And that would be your source of information, wouldn't it? The fans couldn't defend, because if the news companies did an interview but weren't prepared to ask the serious questions of Priscilla's wrongdoing, alleged wrongdoing, it was pretty tough, wasn't it? You didn't get it in the tabloids defending Elvis. Never. I don't think I've ever seen an old newspaper clip defending Elvis. There's loads of newspaper clips talking about Elvis's life. There's loads of newspaper clips, interviews with Priscilla from the late 70s going right till today that sensationalize Elvis's life from Priscilla's point of view. She talks about what she went through with Elvis from her point of view. Many of the things she said are not true, in my opinion. Just an opinion for entertainment purposes. So you would get these different releases in different newspapers all over the world. Like we had the Daily Mail, the Sun, the Daily Express. In America, obviously, you had many different newspapers, and then it would go to magazine. You had the Sunday papers, didn't you? And Priscilla would tell her version of events. The press would give their version of Elvis's life. Some pretty disgusting things said about Elvis. Whether it's to do with his weight, his womanizing, his drug taking, all of it twisted and not correct. No, never taken into account that that he was very sick, very unwell, and he needed his prescribed medication. So a lot of the information that was going out through the really 50s, 60s, 70s was pretty unfair to Elvis and incorrect. And no one was really properly defending him. The only people that have ever really defended Elvis was the fans. You get the odd person like Todd Slaughter. He's a well-known defender of Elvis. Look him up on YouTube. Todd Slaughter, who had met Elvis weeks before he died and was taking tours of British fans to America in their hundreds, even thousands, to see Gracelands and Tupelo. Todd Slaughter, look him up. You see him on the British TV companies, you know, the BBC, ITV, being interviewed. He's still alive now, guys. I think he's 80, 81 or something. They're the original defenders, these people, yeah? Todd Slaughter, look him up. He ran the British, he was like the president or the owner of the British Elvis Presley fan club. Yeah, a very massive fan club, yeah? But my point I'm trying to say is that hardly anyone defending Elvis. So you'd have Priscilla coming along, like claiming that she saved Gracelands. It was her idea to open the Living Museum and to turn Gracelands into a museum. It wasn't true, guys. It wasn't her idea. She didn't save it. Memphis City were always going to save Graceland. I know you've heard me say this so many times, guys. It's like a scratch record, isn't it? I keep repeating myself. But the point I'm trying to get at is this, is that maybe, you know, decades later, Lisa Marie starts to realise, I want to put things right. I'm not happy with many of the things that my mum has done. One of the examples is when allegedly Priscilla was taking 900k a year from Gracelands, and I think Barry Siegel, Lisa's manager, who had become very good friends with Priscilla, was also taking 500,000 a year. And I'm just saying, I could be wrong, but I don't think Lisa knew about it. So when Lisa finds out around 2015-16 that some serious money is being squandered from her inheritance, Elvis's business, the profits of Elvis's business should have been Lisa's. Remember that Priscilla was only there on behalf of Lisa. Now, we do know that Lisa does let, jointly with her mother, Priscilla, carry on helping to run Gracelands at Elvis Presley Enterprise. Gracelands was a massive success. It was always going to be because of Elvis and Elvis's fans. EPE was a great idea. It was a way of Elvis Presley Enterprise. It was a way of hoovering up all the profits made when people used the Presley name, image and likeness, and many other things. So I keep saying it, one of the most horrible things, well, I don't know if horrible is the right word, stupid things that ever happened was the selling of EPE, 85% of it. The renting of Gracelands to EPE, a 90-year lease with $3 million paid up front, just shouldn't have happened. In 2005 to the billionaire, and just my opinion, I think that Lisa was talked into it by Priscilla. Honestly, guys, I don't think Lisa was a business-minded person. I don't think that was her thing. Nor was Priscilla, really. She inherited it all. she got on the back of other people that knew what they were doing, people like Jack Sodden. Yeah, but my point is, going back to Lisa's book, Lisa has obviously made a decision to write a book using these tapes with the help of her daughter. Yeah, and Lisa was going to put the wrongs to rights, because I think this, when you look at the early interviews of Lisa being interviewed, you know, don't forget she was sort of very private, wasn't she? So you don't see interviews of Lisa when she was young. When I say young, I mean a teenager. Yeah, you start to see a few interviews, just the odd few. I think when she's in her 20s. Now, the sense that I get from those interviews is that she was completely in the shadow of her mum. And the mum ruled the roost. The mum allegedly had made a massive success of Gracelands, the museum, EPE, yeah, you know, her and her little management team. I still don't think Priscilla deserves all the credit. The fans deserve the credit. The fans were the cash cow, the thing that made Gracelands the second most attended tourist destination in the world. Still is, I think. Could be wrong, guys. So my point is, Lisa starts to understand, I think around 2005, that all isn't what it seems, that there's a possibility that Priscilla has been up to no good. Starts to put her voice on tape, starts to go through her life, bit by bit, addressing all the things that she thinks that the fans are concerned with. She wants to clear her father's name. She discusses some private, personal stuff there. She wants to expose Priscilla's boyfriend, Michael Edwards, for the alleged abuse, sexual abuse towards a minor, towards Lisa Marie. This abuse that he admitted in his book, the book Priscilla, Elvis and Me, but it's all alleged. So Lisa's like, I need to get this on tape. I want the world to know what went on. This is Lisa. She knew this was going to affect people. She knew it. It was like, I'm going to expose my mum. She does say nice things about Priscilla as well. She's fair. I'm going to expose Michael Edwards, so the authorities can know what happened. Load of motorbikes. Woo, there's motorbikes. Cool. Very cool. Very cool motorbikes. So just get past these people, guys. Do. Ba 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 ba. I'm always worried now. People calling out to me. So I just think that bit by bit something's coming together from Lisa, where she wants the world to know the truth. Now it must be difficult because, come on, Lisa does love her mum. Priscilla's made many mistakes. She's done some very cruel things, but she loves her mum. You can't help it, blood is blood. So this book she knew was going to step on some toes. She knew this book was going to expose some people, including her mum, including Michael Edwards, and some other details. Quite a big decision. Don't forget, then you've got Riley comes along, yeah? Riley comes along. So you got Riley comes along, and there's a few people. I'm trying to get past all these people. She asked Riley to help her. Obviously, there's no way, not in a million years, did she think for a second that that she was going to die. Come on, Lisa didn't know she was going to die. You know, she went through hell with Ben, and I completely can imagine that she went through periods of time after Ben passed that were just, I don't think you can put it into words. It's horrible just to think about it, but she knew she had to be there for the twins. Riley was pretty sorted, really, Riley. But don't forget, Riley was devastated as well, losing her brother Benjamin. Riley was very close to Benjamin. So my point I'm trying to say is that Lisa didn't have to write the book, or should I say make the tapes. We don't really know how many tapes there were, do we? Hi, Debbie. I'm just having a bit of walk in the sunshine, hoping that I don't get anyone shouting abuse like I did the other day. It's made me a bit nervous now when you don't know who's about, do you? Anyway, as I was saying, so the point I'm trying to make is that Lisa is the one that in the end tried to wrong the rights. Lisa makes a decision that is like, do you know what? It's going to upset a few people. It's going to shock a few people. But I want my fans. I want my family. I want the authorities to know the truth about everything. Everything. And now remember, Riley is the one that finished this book. Let me just get past this woman a minute. So just that alone, wasn't it? Just Lisa alone deciding, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make these tapes, knowing that one day a book will be done. We don't really know when Lisa would have made the book, because we don't know how, if she hadn't have become unwell because of the complications that led to her death. Say if she had lived 20, 30 more years, who knows when she would have wrote that book. These tapes that she had made, I would like to know when she started making these tapes. Now her death, God rest her soul, and we miss her. Her death brought everything to a head. Suddenly she's left with certain belongings, and in those belongings are these tapes. We're told it's 16 tapes. We don't really know, do we? We don't really know how many tapes there are. We don't know what was left out of the tapes. We don't know what parts Riley may have chose to keep quiet, keep secret, keep private. Don't really know, do we? I think I might walk this way because it's a bit private, less people. So, some of you say there could be another book. Some say that it won't be till Priscilla passes where we know the full truth. Yeah, the tapes could be done as therapy, but because I think maybe at first they were, Debbie, but once she tells Riley, look, help me finish this book, then we know it's not just therapy, it's therapy with an outcome of the book, an end result of the book, yeah? So, now, obviously Lisa passes, so it brings everything to a head, and then Riley's left really to pick up the pieces because she's the adult. Riley was busy in her own life, yeah? Very busy, yeah? So, a very, very successful lady, Riley. Many people didn't even know that Riley is Elvis's granddaughter, is Lisa's child. Seriously, even now, people are like, oh, Riley Keough. If I say to people, do you know who Riley Keough is? they won't say it's Elvis's grandchild or it's Lisa Marie's daughter. They'll be like, well, a lot of them haven't even heard of her, but the ones that have, you know, she's made her own movies type thing. Even now, guys. But anyway, even now she's the owner of Graceland. She's still, a lot of people don't know it. Right, let's just loosen these sandals up a bit, mate. New sandals, they're rubbing against me. That's better. Sorry, guys. Hi, Pat. So I'm nearly home now. I wanted to do an Elvis Presley fan on keto video. We've done 3 on defending Elvis, by the way. So remember, everything gets brought to a head. All right, it's Engel Humberdix. Yeah, he's okay. I mean, he's not one of my go-to singers, but I like him. He's still alive, isn't he? So Lisa dies. Riley is left to pick up the pieces, and then she's also left with a big decision. And this part of what I'm about to say is to the people that don't support Riley, the Elvis fans that don't support Riley because they're not happy with all her decisions. And I've said this many times. When Lisa died, Riley did not have to make the book, create the book, dedicate her time to creating the book From Here to the Great Unknown. She didn't have to do it. Now, it's a question for you guys. Why did Riley want to do the book? She didn't have to. I know her mum had asked her to, but it doesn't matter. She didn't have to. She didn't have to make the decision to complete the book, to dedicate a whole year, maybe a bit longer, to this book, From Here to the Great Unknown. But she does. She makes it priority. She makes sure she keeps all the gory details in that book, From Here to the Great Unknown. Why did she do it? Why? Why did she make that decision? I'm going to do this straight away. Why does she not just put it in a box and wait 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Pat just said it. Riley wanted Lisa's voice out there ASAP. ASAP. Not only did she finish the book and listen to her mum's tapes for thousands of hours, it felt, she in her own words, she says it felt like a phone call. Felt like she was on the phone to her mum. She said it was very weird at first, but eventually she felt like she was on the phone to her mum. Could you imagine how lucky she was that she had those tapes, that she could listen to her mum's voice? Beautiful, beautiful. But Riley, like Pat just said, Lisa wanted her voice out there. Riley wanted Lisa's voice out there. No one believes what though, Pat? Because are you on about the abuse or you mean the book? No, because I wouldn't say that everyone thinks that the book is a lie. I would say that some Priscilla fans think the book is a lie. Is that what you mean? Let's cross over. Right, mate. Right, let's cross over. So, anyway, guys, as I was saying, like Pat said, Riley wanted Lisa's voice out there. Actually, we could take it a step back, couldn't we? Lisa wanted her voice heard, which is why she did the tapes. So anyone thinking that Riley isn't a true blood of Elvis, of Lisa, she finished the book. She took the time to finish a book. She didn't need the money. She did a book tour. She then went on many, many, many programs talking about the book that her mum put on tape that she helped finish. Riley did her job. She did it really well. The book was a bestseller. All the major people were interviewing Riley about this book. Let me just get past there a minute, guys. So basically, what I'm trying to say, guys, is that Riley did her job. She did a job on behalf of her mum. She did us proud. So she doesn't deserve the backlash that she gets. She doesn't deserve the hate that she gets. She doesn't deserve Elvis fans saying, I only support Elvis. Some say, I only support Elvis and Lisa. She doesn't deserve that. Even YouTube channels say it. You get what I mean, guys? She finished the book. That's enough. That's all you need to know. Riley finished the book, turned it into a bestseller. It was Amazon's #1 seller. It was, I think it was in the Times, #1 seller. Don't forget, Oprah put it in her book club. She couldn't have done a better job. I actually don't know the sales that it had. I could Google it. Does anyone know how many of those books sold? I would say probably over 1 million. I actually don't know. Yeah. So we hold our head up high, and we're proud of Lisa for writing, for making the tapes, and we hold our head up high, and we're proud of Riley for finishing the book on behalf of her mum. And as Pat said, she gave her mum a voice. I repeat, Riley gave her mum a voice. Lisa's tapes gave Lisa a voice, exposing some serious wrongdoing. So that's it, guys. I'm home. Probably going to do another video on Elvis Presley long lost footage because it's so lovely. I'm going to get the kids from school. I'm hoping Tino's a bit better because it's his birthday tomorrow. So I'm hoping he's okay. He was a bit better today. Still needs a bit of carpal. So we did a walk without any heckling. Not bad. So anyway, if you've just joined us, we did some very good live streams this morning discussing Priscilla coming to the UK, which for me, because she's only 20 minutes away, a bit odd. Priscilla will be literally a short drive away from where I live on this UK show that she's doing, this tour that she's doing on behalf of her new book. And so we discussed that this morning. We were going to have a Austin Butler day, but quite a few of you were sending me the link to this tour, this Priscilla in the UK tour, and I just felt we had to address it. Yeah. So we are going to still be doing an Austin Butler day. So I think we've actually done enough today. No one bothered you, Louis. Yay! I think I was just very unlucky yesterday. It was the very last minute. Let me just walk into the house a minute. I'll just keep going a bit longer, but just before I have to get the kids. 1 second, guys. It's got much warmer now. I'm gonna get the kids and I'm gonna walk the dogs. Let's go into the house. I just want to check what time it is. It's okay, dogs, we're going soon, yeah. So we've got a few minutes. Let's go and sit in the garden. In the shade. So my wife's been tidying the garden. Our garden is a bit of a mess. Got a big giant trampoline. Let's put a chair, let's get a chair I can sit on. Look, you can see my lounge here. Can you see it? I think you can see it. I don't use this lounge very often. This is my wife's area. I prefer the kitchen, as you know, because that's where I do all my videos. So a cute little garden. Probably looks bigger in this camera. It isn't that big, it's actually quite small, but the camera makes it big. You can see up to the bedrooms there, our house. So the bit that sticks out there is where I make the videos. My little Elvis corner. So then we have this, our problem is we've got all these trees that are growing and they block a lot of our sunlight out. We've had them cut back, but they just keep growing back. And I do sort of like the trees, but my wife, see, we're in the shade now, and the shaded area does get all muddy. That's the problem. There's no sunlight. So you can't really It's great if you want a bit of shade. It's good for the trampoline. So the main part of the garden we use is the bit where we get sunlight. They play a bit of football here. Look, see the kids play football here. I actually quite like our garden, but I'm gonna sit down for 5 minutes. I actually quite like our garden, but my wife doesn't like all the shaded areas, all the trees. She doesn't like them. She wants them all to be cut back. But to cut back those trees, we're talking probably 5 grand. So that's it, guys. So, love how you're all... Oh yeah, it's quite private here in the way of... When I'm in this garden, you can't really see the other houses. It is very enclosed, which I do like. You know me, guys, I don't really mix with people. So what do you guys think of this tour coming to Bristol in the UK? What do you guys think of the fact that Priscilla is doing this tour? What do you think her reasons are for doing the tour? Like, to me, she's carrying on the fairy tale. So you've got the book Elvis and Me. I call it the Book of Lies. Many things in that book have been twisted. Yeah, we can hear all the birds, can't we? I love birds, I love flowers, yeah. I love nature, I love animals. But many of the things in the book Elvis and Me are just twisted. So Priscilla, obviously, she's already given us hints of what she's going to do. She's going to talk about this difficult decision she made to leave Elvis, yeah? And what that entailed. Now, we know why. We know why, don't we? Oh, yeah. But Priscilla will give different reasons. She'll say she felt imprisoned, suffocated, had lost herself, needed to find herself, had her own ambition. Priscilla will give the impression she didn't have a life, yeah? Even though she had a husband and a child, that is a life. To me, I remember when I met my wife and when we got together and we had our first child, that was it. I had everything I could ever dream of. I had my partner, I had my first child. Obviously then you buy a home, yeah? I had my income, my job that I did back then. This is in 2004, I think. So to me, that was everything. So Priscilla had everything. She had the husband, the child, the home, the man bringing in the money, yeah? So Priscilla says, oh, I didn't have a life when I married Elvis. I felt like a prisoner in Gracelands, almost trapped, yeah? Controlled, groomed. But she did have a life. She had everything. She had complete freedom. She could do whatever she wanted. Yes, Elvis would go away making the movies, eventually doing his tours. But she had a massive life, amazing life. She had the life of royalty. She had a beautiful daughter. But instead, what took Priscilla over, in my opinion, was she fancied other men. She didn't think she was ready to have a child, even though she had one, yeah? So instead of focusing on the child and thinking about the good of the child, beautiful Lisa Marie, she was focused more on herself, her career, what she could do, what she could become. When she says, I couldn't find myself, what she's really saying is, I'm ambitious. I want to be on TV, I want to be in movies, I want to be a model, run businesses, have a boutique, promote products like perfumes. I think one of the things she got into was bed linen. I'm not sure about that, but she wanted fame, she wanted attention, she wanted to be Elvis. My point that I'm trying to say is the focus didn't move to Lisa, this beautiful child that is everything you could ever dream of. The focus of Priscilla was on her future, what she could attain, what she could achieve. She didn't really need money. Elvis was always going to give her money. So it wasn't just about money. I think money was a big part of it. She wanted her own money, but it was what she could do. instead of what kind of a mum she could be. That's what should have happened. Even when me and my wife had our first child, it was all about making that our first child's life very special. So creating a home. Obviously, you've got to have income. I had to work, yeah. My wife didn't work at first. She had to be there for the baby. We both were, but my wife was home more, so her priority. Then very quickly we had the second child. So my wife was very busy with the two babies. I was at work a lot. My point is, we knew what was important. We have to work to pay the bills so that we can create a life for our children. Priscilla didn't see it that way. Priscilla felt held back. Oh, now I'm lumbered with a baby. Well, I won't be with Elvis as much. I had plans with Elvis. We were going to travel. We were going to do things together. But the thing is, I found that when we had children, you traveled more. You did more things together because you're trying to create memories for the children. So for me, having children never held me back or tied me down. I always saw it that it opened more doors because I wanted to travel more when I had children. I wanted to help create these memories with my wife for the children. You get it? Priscilla didn't see that. She felt like, oh, a part of my life is over. She felt constrained. She felt held back when the opposite should have happened. And this is when I think Priscilla starts to have her eye on other men, fancying other men. She's a woman. She fancied other men. She was very ambitious, wanted to be an actress, a model, wanted to make money. Get it, guys? Lisa became a bit of a problem, was a bit in the way. Let's send her to summer camps. Let's eventually send her to Scientology. Eventually get nannies to look after her. So suddenly Priscilla was out in the world pursuing her ambitions massively. You can see all the interviews. You know, one of them is the Hella shampoo brand, yeah? Then you've got, she did that TV series, Those Amazing Animals. You see what I mean, guys? So she's creating a life for herself that is separate from Lisa after Elvis. You get it? So who is the victim of all these decisions of putting herself first? It's 100% it's Lisa. Lisa felt her mum didn't love her. Lisa felt that she was a problem for her mum. Could you imagine how that impacted Lisa's life? Just that, oh, my mum doesn't really want me. Didn't really, wasn't ready to have me. Didn't have time for me. So you've got it in Lisa's book. She says it very clearly. She was trying to win her mum's attention, win her mum's affections, trying to get her mum's approval. See? But her mum had other things that she was going to do. Priscilla was not going to let Lisa, her child, get in the way of her desires, her ambitions. Get it, guys? So then Lisa had to pick up the pieces from that as a child, and then the horrific stuff happens. Two horrific things. Forced to live with Mike Stone, a complete stranger, taken away from her father. And then a few years later, forced to live with Michael Edwards, who allegedly was an abuser. You see? So then people tell Lisa off for having a problem with boys, drugs, alcohol, being a very rebellious child. But they ignore what Lisa went through. She went through a lot. She went through hell. Before she became a very naughty, rebellious child with problems, she went through hell. So then she becomes an adult. I think there was a calming period at first when she met Danny Keough, but eventually these problems that she had to live through, that all stem from her mum, Priscilla, affect every part of her life. Every part of her life. So that's how it is, guys. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go and get the kids. I think you get the gist here, that what we try to do here is never about hating Priscilla. It's always about trying to help people understand the wrongdoing to Elvis, but also trying to help people understand the wrongdoing to Lisa, and now the wrongdoing that is happening to Riley, Finley and Harper, obviously with Priscilla going against her daughter's wishes with the amendments to the trust, the money, the property that was for Riley, Finley and Harper. The fact that Priscilla went against that. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? Just some very, very serious things that have impacted all of them, you know, that have impacted Lisa, Riley, Finley and Harper. Yeah. So we, as just fans, because that's all we are, it's none of our business, we're just fans, want the world to know the truth. So when you see this book tour coming out, I always think the world deserves to know the truth. The world doesn't, it's not fair that the world is being told the truth from the point of view of Priscilla with this new book. Priscilla trying to carry on the fairy tale with this new book, carry on telling the lies, in my opinion, entertainment purposes, of the new book. So we jump in the middle of the mix. We, the fans, the Elvis fans, we jump in the middle and we say, don't believe what's going to come out in the book, Priscilla's new book, because a lot of it may be lies. We warn the public, the general public, through YouTube, through our YouTube channel, Defending Elvis, Elvis Presley fan on Keto. Be careful what you read, because it might not be true. I repeat before I go, be careful what you read from Priscilla's book, because it might not be true. That's it, guys. Gonna go and get the